Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdouts Newsstand, and something happened today in the case of Johnny Depp versus The Sun. There was actually a preliminary hearing, and I did not even know this was scheduled. I do know it is scheduled as of right now to start Monday. That is up in question with everything going on in the world. We won't find out till Friday at another preliminary hearing. If that is, going to go forward. They are going to be doing some teleconferencing and stuff like that. So there is a chance that we could see this still happen. But other than that, I did not know they were having this preliminary hearing. And there are a couple new things that kind of have come out in development. And, you know what? It's really hard when you're unable to get the court documents to actually dig through this. So I looked at about 5 different articles, all written about the same situation, and everybody kind of frames it differently. They all spin it with their narrative. Everybody has one, and of course I do too. That's why I encourage people on my channel to seek out other people, other opinions, to actually look at the original article, because I can only tell you what I think. And a lot of these times though, these narratives that are spun shouldn't be. If you don't know enough about the situation as a whole, if you can't argue for both sides, you shouldn't be arguing for one, but yet they will, because simply believe women. Now, let's take a look, and actually, this was the best one, I think. This comes from page 6, and they do go through the evidence pretty well, the night as a whole, and you know what, for a TLDR, basically by the end of the night that Amber swears this happened, Johnny was in the hospital. So, you know what? It makes absolutely no sense. But there are 2 text messages that are in question. And it could either prove Johnny's innocence or it could prove Amber's innocence. So let's take a look at this. It says Amber Heard didn't slice off Johnny Depp's finger. Now this is what the court heard today. And they are going to be specifically talking about when Johnny Depp texting his doctor and said that, he severed his finger during an alleged attack on Amber. He said to have ripped her nightgown, grabbed her breast, strangled her. This was all heard in the court today. Again, by the end, you're going to realize that it couldn't have. He was in the hospital. This took place on March 8th. And the night that she says it happened, he was in the hospital. Even so, let's take a look at, this is between him and his doctor, his personal doctor, David Kipper. And this is back in 2015. Now, if you remember, I did a video, and I'll put the link to my entire playlist in the description. But The Sun was somehow magically able to get over 70,000 text messages, personal text messages from Johnny. But then again, this is The Sun. This isn't the first time they've done something like that. So whether it was, his ex-legal team or if it was some sort of hack, they still receive these messages. And there are 2 specifically in question saying that Johnny is lying. Okay, the first one is on March 7th. This is when Depp wrote to his doctor, David Kipper, "I cut the top of my finger off. What should I do? Except, of course, go to the hospital. I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything with her. Fuck the world, JD." Now, before I even talk about the second one, I don't think this proves anything. He does say, "I cut my finger off," to his doctor. Now, think about when you are in a relationship. You are not going to throw somebody under the bus, especially after things have calmed down. You're not going to text your doctor and be like, "This crazy bitch just cut off my finger." No, because you want to solve the relationship. You want to fix things and move forward. So you don't want people thinking bad about her, bad about the situation, anything like that. I don't think any good man would throw a woman that they expect to have a life with under the bus like that, whether he knew him well enough or not. But he does say, "I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything with her." I'm assuming they were close. Otherwise, that would be a very weird sentiment to say. But, he's already regretting it at this point. Now, let's take a look at the second text message here, right? This is 12 days later. He added this to the doctor. So it says, "Thank you for everything. I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut off my fingers again. I love you, brother Johnny. Obviously, this was 12 days later. This was a time where, they had passed. The fight was over. Things were better. So, does this prove that, he obviously takes credit for it not only once, but twice. So does this prove that, he was lying this entire time? No, not in my eye. Now, it is mild concern when it comes to kind of the court documents, but it doesn't prove anything. For one, it should be admissible. I'm not sure at this point if it is or not because of how they were obtained, and it was personal, doctor-patient confidentiality. In America, I don't know how it is in UK, but in America, we have HIPAA laws against this kind of thing. So I'm not sure how it is there. I'm sure it's, pretty similar. But even so, yes, he did say he did it. He did also say he's embarrassed to be jumping into anything with her. Yes, any good man would not throw their wife under the bus. They just simply wouldn't. Nobody would tell that story. For one, men a lot of times will be embarrassed. Not that there's anything to be embarrassed about, but we all have, men all have that masculinity complex, and I get it. But not only that, but I just don't believe for a second if he had planned on working things out, he would throw her under the bus. There's no reason to even think that he would. So like I said, these were read out loud, and we do have some good feedback from it though, right? So what I want to specifically talk about is Adam Waldman, which is Johnny Depp's lawyer, what he had to say about this. He said to the Post, what the court heard today was not evidence. It was Amber Heard's newest story about a late night bust up. Facts matter. Back in reality, as hospital records and eyewitness testimony show, Amber Heard's attack story could not have occurred the night of Sunday, March 8, 2015, as she alleges. This is the best part. I'm not even kidding. This is gold. Because Johnny Depp went to the hospital in the early afternoon on March 8th to reattach the finger Amber Heard had severed. And Mr. Depp did not see her again in Australia. Our opponents are so lost in their lies, they can't even get their fake sequence of events, times, or dates straight. It's pretty funny when you accuse somebody of ripping off your nightgown and mocking you and throwing you and basically assaulting you to a terrible degree, and he ends up being in the hospital. That's absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, honestly, if you are interested in the situation, this was a good article sequencing the events that didn't happen and the ones that really did. But it does talk about how, because of his finger being severed, there was quite a few times when they were worried about him, dying. Like MRSA is methicillin resistant coccolocus. I know I should know how to say that better, but most people just call it MRSA. It is a virus that you cannot, methicillin is a antibiotic and it is resistant to that. So it is very serious. You usually have to use something like vancomycin or gentamicin, something very strong as far as antibiotics go. And those you have to be in the hospital basically for those. So, It can be very serious. It can kill you. Now it's not very likely, but I'm just saying you have done so much, including put a cigarette out on his face that night. Like, who does that? Like, trash does that. But even so, I don't want to get too much off on a tangent, but you put this man in such a predicament, made up your lies, can't keep your story straight, and come to find out it's the wrong night. Come to find out he has documents from the hospital that he was in the hospital. Sorry, it doesn't work that way, Amber. You are caught. But even so, I should have another video up Friday when it comes to the other preliminary hearing. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris C., Dave Ross, David L., Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Sanjuro, Jeremy Burtz, Joe Bustify, Kato Roan, Magical Exotic Diamonds, Mighty Pauls, Mike Buckner, Robert, Steve Glasker, Timothy French, Alice Matt Films, Alexander Trapp, Way Else One, and Troy Reiser. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.